This video is about a controversial topic. Depending on who you talk to, they could have a radically opposite opinion, or I would call it an observation. I'd actually say they're delusional, but they could have a radically opposite stance to the stance that I'm taking right now in this video. And that stance, as you could see in the title, maybe not the thumbnail, because I'm trying these organic style thumbnails where it's just me. So it sets your expectations straight and you don't expect any ridiculous editing and all that nonsense. Nice people. Even the nice people in your life that don't really overtly show any negative aspects are quite manipulative people. They're not good people. They have this crazy moral, righteousness about them where they believe really strongly that if other people see them as nice, this is the ultimate thing they could be doing. And I used to be a master of this, which is not a good thing. But I used to only care about being right. And the manifestation of only caring about being right in my behaviors, in my relationships, in my life, really, if I'm being honest, was me being nice. And I cared far more about how I looked to other people than the actual impact I was having on them or the actual outcomes they got from interacting with me. And if that's you, or if you know somebody like that, it would be wise to reflect on that a little bit and understand that if you feel a certain intention inside of yourself, and this will be even more controversial to a lot of people. If you feel a certain intention inside of yourself, everybody can notice it. Most of them just won't mention it. And you're probably only talking to the people naive enough to either not see it or ignore it. And they probably don't see it. And they're probably ignoring it because they are also like that. So if you feel like you want to put somebody down, or you want to start an argument with somebody, or you want to prove them wrong, everybody can see that. Just because you're trying to play it off like you're doing something else, you're trying to use the meaning of your words to override the tone of your speech and your subtle expressions of body language that everybody can basically register with their mirror neurons. It doesn't work. And it's a very unfortunate state to be in because it is a deeper problem than people think. And it's kind of like this, there was a guy, Dr. Robert Glover, who wrote a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy, and it was basically about this exact topic. And he calls it nice guy syndrome. And what he calls nice guy syndrome, the main point of that book that I pulled, because I don't really read books all the way through. I read them until I understand what they're talking about, and then you can kind of just observe what they were observing when they wrote the book, and you have information about it. He mentioned that nice guys operate on what are called covert contracts. And a covert contract is basically a silent assumption. If I behave this way toward people, if I act this way in the world, then I will receive respect back, or I will receive a certain thing in return. And that front end is the nice part, where I'm saying that that's actually just a manipulation tactic, right? People are being nice. They're being almost overly bubbly or overly charismatic for a given period of time. And then if you actually see them in other situations, they're no longer like that. They're only nice in particular situations. And then, if it's not reciprocated to them, they will start to develop this conspiracy about it because they're offended, because the contract has been violated, right? They did X and they expected Y, and now that got subverted, contract violation. What the other person did was wrong. And you see this theme of an obsession with being right coming up again. Again, something people think nobody notices, but it is so obvious. And the harshest truth about this is if you're obsessed with being right, you've probably just surrounded yourself. You either don't have a lot of close relationships, all of your close relationships are heavily damaged and toxic, or you've surrounded yourself with other people who also only want to be right, who agree with your kind of radicalized stance at any given time. And because they have this hidden agreement, like, if we both stick to this way of being, we have each other at least, which is another toxic relationship. But once their contract has been violated, and he's got a list of them. I could maybe pull them up, but I'm practicing doing videos without any scripting today. And this one I didn't even have notes for. I recorded one just before this on how to record without a script. And it was like 30 minutes. It went really well. Just a straight list of how to do that. If you're interested, you could look at it. Although the topic of this video isn't really correlated with that at all, so I don't know why you'd be interested in it. But once a nice guy's or nice gal's covert contract is violated enough times in different situations, they will eventually reach a tipping point. So it's like a buildup of anger and resentment, right? That is just going to start to leak out more and more until eventually, finally, they blow up. And because this doesn't get addressed, ever, in most cases, they will sometimes wind up taking drugs or drinking or using medication to overcome this like rage that gets built up in them. And there really is a group of people who self-identify as nice, with nice meaning this. And it's like, it's incredible to see because they have zero awareness of the impact of their behavior. So I suppose this video some kind of maybe like a PSA, but it just something that came into my mind because I see it in a good chunk of people around me. And I wanted to bring awareness to the topic because I was in that position and it's really not fun. Firstly, it's not fun to be that way because you form a lot of negative structures in your life. And secondly, it's not fun to be around people like that. And just as a final note on how you could pick people out like that, they have this really weird fixation on manipulation. Funnily enough, good title for the video. Nice guys are manipulators or something like that. I don't know. I'll put manipulation in the title. They're fixated on it. One great example is, someone who's not really in that state of mind at all. If you say you're going to take a piece of paper and manipulate the paper, normally a person will realize you mean physically alter the position of the paper, right? Or you're going to manipulate a series of materials. It means you're going to physically adjust them. They will immediately say that that's not a good choice of word. And they will target it and be suspicious of the fact that manipulate was used, because manipulation means you're controlling somebody. Manipulation means it's a tactic. It's a tactic to get at somebody and harm them, and that's what people do to me. So maybe you shouldn't say manipulate. And they'll actually then attempt to manipulate you into thinking that your usage of the word manipulate is not proper usage. So there's a lot of stuff like that, but I'll end that video here. I hope nobody wants to hear more about this, but if you want to hear more about nice guys, if you want to hear more about personality type stuff, subscribe to the channel. Actually, subscribe to the channel even if you don't want to hear about it. Just subscribe anyway and like the video, but comment if you want to hear more about this type of, personality style or whatever you want to call it. Thanks for watching.